Thank you. It's happening. It's happening. Hi, everyone. Welcome. The word welcome is a very, very old word. It comes from a Latin word, which means to receive those for whom you have been waiting. And believe it or not, we've been waiting for you for about a year. For this group of people to be in this room, in this moment, we have been waiting and preparing for you. And so here's the time. We all get to be together. We all get to share this moment, this very moment together. There are going to be people that are continuing to join in. The empty seats are in the middle. If you so choose to move in and make it easier for folks that are finding their way, that would be much appreciated. Otherwise, they're going to scooch in across you, and that's the way it just is going to be. So welcome. Come on in. So today, the first day of BISC3, this is pretty exciting. We are here because we're choosing to be here, because we are excited to be here, and we're excited that you are here with us. Even though we don't know you, our hearts are wide open to you. So thank you for your presence. So here we are in a science class, right? Getting ready to understand some science. So this is my first time teaching in this room, so bear with me, bear with all of us as we learn. Thank you. So let's begin with a review, right? This is the scientific method, very likely the scientific method that you've seen since about 4th grade. So does it look familiar? The idea that we make an observation, and then a question comes about, and then you get a hypothesis about the answer to the question. Just come on in, don't worry. And then we experiment to see if the answer that we have created is correct or not. So this is the scientific method. We've used it in classes. There's the periodic table of the elements. Very likely you took some science while you were in school, through elementary school, into high school. And so this is what we're going to be doing all semester, is using the scientific method. So today we're going to practice a couple of rounds of this scientific method. So people are going to be scooching in as they continue to find the room. Here's the first round, our first inquiry for today. We are going to observe ourselves. I have the wrong one. That's the problem. Here we are. We are going to be observing ourselves. So as you're there in your chair, taking a moment, taking a good deep breath, feel your feet on the floor. What parts of your feet are touching inside your shoes and therefore weighing a little bit heavier on the ground? How is the arch of your foot feeling right now? What are your toes doing right now? Are they clenching? Are they relaxed? Are they pushing into the base of your shoes? Play with it for a moment. You can feel your feet. Feel how they move, how they react. And as you're doing that, you notice that you're breathing. The sensations of breathing, of taking air deep into your lungs. A good deep breath that expands your belly. Our culture teaches us, when we take a deep breath, to lift our shoulders up and suck our bellies in, except that that's not a deep breath. Our lungs go way down into our bellies, right down into here, right? So to expand our lungs fully, you take a good deep breath and your belly bubbles out because the expansion of your lungs. So a good, proper deep breath. Take one in now, as slowly as possible, and then release all the air. Might take 5 full seconds to release that. And then relax, and then you allow the air to rush back in to revitalize your body. So there are benefits to breath like this. Dwelling in this present moment, I know that this is the only moment. So what are you observing in yourself? What are you observing in the soles of your feet, the arches of your feet, your toes, your breath, all the parts of you? So this observing of yourself. So as you do this, I'm going to ask questions like this. What are you observing? And then we have a microphone that comes out and we get people to tell us, what are you observing? So here you have an opportunity, right? What are you observing? How did you feel before the breathing? How did you feel after the breathing? What did you notice about your feet? I noticed that the toes of my left foot were all clenched up. That's what happens when I feel a little anxious. One of the signs that I know. So what did you observe? Autumn has the microphone for you.
I observed that my left foot was kind of flat on the ground, but my right foot, I was like up on my toes a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Is that a regular posture for you? Do you know about enough
I
about?
honestly could not tell you.
Okay,
That's just kind of how I was sitting.
but cool. But now you have an observation and maybe you'll notice it again some other day. That's interesting. Maybe there's a reason you do that, just like the clenching. Yeah. Thanks for being the first to speak this semester. Any other observations? Autumn, up here closer to the front, there's someone.
I observed that I was having kind of a hard time taking it seriously, but the more that I thought about it, I felt kind of like weird and kind of tingly, like kind of like
Mm,
ants on my skin or something.
weird and tingly.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
hmm
Thanks for
It
that
was kind of
observation.
uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. The more you breathe or the more I talked?
The more that I thought about all the
The more
things that
you
you were
thought
saying.
about it. Ooh, our thoughts do interesting things for us, sometimes helpful and sometimes simply not helpful. So thanks for sharing that. Excellent. So you could think that it's weird or uncomfortable to share in this room. Maybe some of that's bringing some feelings of anxiety for some of you. But the idea is that with a question like that, what did you observe? There are no wrong answers, right? You are a human having your human experience. And by sharing our human experiences, we have the opportunity to learn from each other. So in this room, in BISC3, we are all each other's teachers. Just because I'm the one that stands up here in the front with the microphone doesn't mean that I have all the answers, by far. There are so many things that I do not know that you all, in your 352 lives of experience, can show me, can teach me. And so you could, see it as experience as scary, or you could open up to the opportunity of being a teacher for somebody else. So we're all starting something new, right? We're all starting, this is the first day of school for all of us in this room, getting ready to kick off a new semester that we're doing today, new classes, new possibilities, new responsibilities, new. And so I know that I have been having simultaneous feelings of anxiety and excitement. What other emotions have all of you been experiencing in these days? Yeah.
This is my last semester of undergrad, so it's kind of like bittersweet.
A bittersweet emotion. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Last semester was up and down, so I'm motivated.
Yeah, so motivated to start a new round, right? Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Anyone else want to speak to an emotion?
I'm kind of excited to have like a fresh start, like for like a new semester, like new classes and like to meet new people and just like a whole new start.
Yeah, it's a new start. So the opportunity, thank you for that. So all of these feelings that we have come up from different chemical pathways that happen inside our bodies. So particularly today, because I've been feeling that excitement and a little bit of anxiety, I thought we'd focus on these. So we have these pathways that are happening in our bodies all the time, and they serve as serve for different reasons in our bodies. So we have noradrenaline, we have serotonin, and then down at the bottom of the screen, the dopamine. So these are three hormones that are going on. They're moving through our bodies all the time. And if we can understand how they're working for us, then we can be even more aware of what's happening. So we've got this, we feel excitement because of the increased dopamine, right? The reward, the pleasure, the drive. That's the year of preparation for it's a reward for me to walk in this room and see you here. That's pretty exciting. It also brings me to my attention, right? But that's also this noradrenaline. I have lots of energy, alertness that helps with my concentration. And then there's the serotonin, the memory and the obsession, the impulse, the anxiety. So all of these hormones are coursing through my body right now, and maybe for some of you as well. So then thinking about how those things, part of that is we sort of classify it as stress. So we think about this stress response inside our bodies. So the instant our brains detect something that's going to trigger us, like a threat of some kind, it triggers this stress response to happen. The brain, the parasympathetic medullary pathway that goes over here triggers our adrenal gland, and then that makes adrenaline, and then this pathway follows to the cortisol. So different kinds of stress responses that are happening in our bodies. So if I understand that maybe I'm feeling a little bit threatened by 352 of you looking at me right now, that I can calm my body with my breath and understand that I am not threatened right now. This is not a real threat. There's not a tiger that I have to run away from. So if I'm understanding how my body is functioning, I can become better aware of what's going on and then also more in control. So this is where it all comes back to being scientists. We can be curious about what's happening in our own bodies and ask ourselves questions. We can find out information. We can experiment with different ways of being. And so we are all scientists. So if you signed up for this class, as many people do, because you're not really science oriented, it's okay, because actually by being human, you are a scientist. You are using the scientific method all the time. So now I'd like you to take a moment to reflect on this. This is our second observation for the day. What was your perception as you came into the room? If you can take yourselves back in time to that moment when you walked in, what was your perception of being in this particular classroom? So take just a moment. What did you notice? What questions came up? What were you thinking and feeling in that moment? Would anyone like to speak to their observation at that moment? One second.
I liked how social everybody was. It wasn't like your stereotypical, like everyone walks in is like staring around, sitting quiet. Everyone was very social, and I really liked that.
Thank you for noticing that. That's great. Appreciate that. It's something I like about this class as well. Other observations? Oh, sorry.
I was stressed at first coming into class because I was outside trying to log into LimePath to see which room I had to come into. But it was nice because I was immediately welcomed and given a paper. And so I wasn't like completely just lost coming into a room of just a bunch of people.
Thanks. Thanks for saying that. And thank you, TAs, for making that happen. Um, so then those hormones, right? The cortisol goes down a little bit, the norepinephrine goes down, like all those things get a little bit decreased in your body. There's somebody back there, and then one more kind of in the middle here.
On the contrary to the last person, I got kind of stressed when there was people right inside the door.
Oh, I see.
So
So that's a different kind of feeling. And
yeah.
I'm glad that you shared that because we all experience the same things, but have different perceptions. So thank you for that. Yeah. Excellent. And then somebody right here in the middle, Autumn.
Gotta stretch. I was surprised at how many people were in here, and then I also was like worried about the chair situation because I came kind of late,
Yeah.
and I was like getting ready to jump over people.
Right, which you just did very efficiently, so it worked out. Okay. Thank you. So all these different perceptions, and then what do we do with our perceptions, right? There's a power in understanding that we have choices all the way along. And you're going to find that we talk a lot in BISC3 about choices and how we move through the world. So walking in, sometimes I phrase the question, did you see us or did you see them? What do you sense is the difference between those two words? Walking into this room, did you see us or did you see them? Does anybody want to speak to the difference in the phrasing?
I would say that like us would mean that you're including yourself in the group, and them would mean that you're not including yourself.
And so what's the difference in feeling then?
It's just a feeling of being included or not, or if you're
Yeah.
like kind of isolating yourself from everyone else.
Yeah, isolation versus being included. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Anybody else want to say anything more about that? Us versus them? There's somebody right in front of you, Adam. Yep.
Sweet. Thanks. Them would be like if you feel kind of alienated, like not welcome or maybe uncomfortable in an environment for the first time. And
Mhm.
then us is like you're familiar and you feel comfortable and like you fit in.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that level of comfort or lack thereof. So that's important for us to consider, right? So the idea that we put our place, we put ourselves because of how our minds work into a cultural story. And so how is it that we can be aware of those cultural stories and then move through the world accordingly? Again, going back to choice. So this scientific method will continue to show up, the observation, and then sort of breaking down the concluding or the next steps of what do you observe and then what do you notice about that observation, and then how does it relate to you as a person? So understanding our scientific method is built into us. So with all of that said, I would like to officially greet you with the Mayan greeting in Lakesh. In Lakesh, I am another you. This is the way that the Mayans greet the sun and the water. It's the way that they walk through the world, right? The land in Lakesh. I am another you. Their internal dialogue is that we are all here together, human and non-human, to create the world that we live in. We're all made of the same stuff. And so with that, in Lakesh, I am Jen. I work full-time at Shavers Creek Environmental Center, if you're familiar with that. It's located off campus, and it's a place where has been my work home for 28 years. I'm really delighted to have done lots of different environmental education with a lot of different people and a lot of different animals on beautiful opportunities of land. I enjoy crafts of all kinds. I have 3 sons, and I really celebrate connections and creativity. But as you may have gathered through the beginning of the class, I am only a small part of this ecosystem that makes up BISC3. So I've said we have been waiting for you for a year. And so I'd like to introduce the rest of the we at this point. So TAs, will you come on up? Learning coordinators, come on up. Autumn, come on up. You can do it. And they're going to introduce themselves to you as well.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to BISC. My name's Ashlyn. I'm a learning coordinator for this class, so I'll be running the social media, which I'll shout out, I think, on Wednesday, so you can all follow it. But I'm just so excited to be here and welcome you in this space. In Lakesh, I'm Autumn. I'm the learning coordinator. No, I'm the educational coordinator for this class. I work closely with learning coordinators and with Jen to develop content and help with all class logistics. And I truly believe that you're in great hands no matter which TA you have, because I've been seeing the growth that these TAs have undergone this past semester.
Hi, I'm a TA. My name is Sam. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm excited to see everyone's personal journey throughout this semester.
Hi, my name's Allison. I'm also a TA. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm excited for you all to learn and grow throughout this experience.
Hi, I'm Priyanka. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm so excited for this semester.
Hi, I'm Kyle. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm excited to get to share in this BISC experience with all of you.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm so excited to get to know you all.
Hi, I'm Vic. I use they, them pronouns. And clap if you're just as excited as I am.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I use she, her pronouns, and I am here because I'm really excited to take the next step in my BISC journey.
Hi, I'm Paulina. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm excited to see you all grow this semester.
Hi, I'm Bella, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm confident we'll have a successful semester.
Hi, I'm Alana. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm really excited to start this new and special journey with you guys.
Hi, I'm Keelan. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm confident that if you put your heart into this course, you'll get a lot out of it.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Morgan. I use they, them pronouns, and I am also one of your LCs. I'm in charge of the more logistical side of BISC, but I also plan our upcoming field trip to Shavers Creek, so get excited for that. And I am really excited to see what all of you will bring to this class this semester.
Hello, in Lakesh. My name is Angelica. I use she, her pronouns. I am also a learning coordinator for this class, and I will be working on the movies, the extra credit movie opportunities that we'll have in this class, as well as I'll be working on it with Morgan. So, this class has really changed my life in the most unusual ways, and I'm excited to see how it changes yours.
Hi guys, my name's Lily. I use she, her pronouns. I'm also one of the TAs, and I'm just so excited to get to know all of you better.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily. I'm a TA. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm so excited for you all to start your BISC journey and to be a part of it.
Hi, I'm Chris. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm excited to get to know some of you guys this semester.
Hi, I'm Tori. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm a TA, and I'm excited to grow with you guys and guide you guys through BISC.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I use she, her pronouns. I'm excited to learn and grow alongside all of you this semester.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mallory. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm here with you all today because BISC really helped me strengthen my relationship with the natural world, and I would love to help you all do the same.
Hi everyone, my name is Christine. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm really excited to make meaningful connections through BISC this semester.
My name's Ben. It's nice to see you all. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody and getting to know everybody a little bit better.
Hi, my name is Sawyer and Lakesh, and I believe this is going to be an awesome semester with all you guys, and I'm just really excited to learn and grow with you all.
Hi, everyone. My name is Scout. I'm the last learning coordinator, and I'm so excited for you all to experience the beauty of BISC. You'll see me up at the front. I deal with all the computer stuff, so hopefully I don't mess it up.
Thank you all. Woo woo. Oh, she. So a couple of systems that we'll be using is that if you hear something that resonates with you during the class, if somebody says something that you think is brave or that you have a similar feeling about or that you want to thank them for speaking, then you snap. So we've been doing that. The TAs have been doing that already. So you can join in on that anytime that you feel so led to do so. And then also we'll be having lots of times when we pair and share with the person next to you. And at the end of those conversations, then I'll ring a bell to bring us back into our bigger forum for sharing out. So just so that you have a couple of those logistical community kinds of things. I want to look at this quote, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. So you signed up for this as a Gen Ed course, right? What is a Gen Ed course is our next question, our observation. So what is your perception of that? What is a Gen Ed course? Why does Penn State require them for you? You're likely not science majors, but you're in here to get science credit. Why would that be? Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Thanks. So I think it's to make sure that everyone's well-rounded and has like an even playing field throughout the rest of their academic career.
Thank you for saying so. Even playing field, so that the idea of being well-rounded is interesting. So a week ago, I got a message from email message from Maggie Slatterly. She is the director of the Office for General Education and the Assistant Dean for General Undergraduate Education here at Penn State. And the email says this: your course plays an important role in our general education program because it provides students with essential learning in natural sciences. It also provides students the opportunity to meet these general education learning objectives: creative thinking, critical and analytical thinking, key literacies, social responsibility, and ethical reasoning. Her email continues, we encourage you to keep these learning perspectives in your mind and consider how each one connects to some specific aspect of your plan for the semester. So it seems as though Penn State gets it, just what Dr. Martin Luther King was saying, the idea of intelligence plus character, the goal of true education. So the idea that Penn State requires these classes outside your major to create these well-rounded citizens, that we have those choices, being aware of those choices. So my role and the role of your TA and the learning coordinators and Autumn, we put this course together so that we're meeting some of those goals, right? But the idea is that we can communicate all we want, but then it's your choice about how you are going to engage. So that's up to you. What is that going to look like for you? We want you to see your own power and the opportunity and beauty of the connections that you can build, and only you can choose that. This is a cool time in your lives for this class because your prefrontal cortex, that part in red up there, the part of the brain located at the frontal lobe, it's useful in complex behaviors such as focusing attention, predicting the consequences of your actions, anticipating events in the environment, impulse control, managing emotional reactions, planning and finding connections. So this prefrontal cortex plays a huge role in developing your personality. And for the majority of you in this room, that part of your brain is still growing, is still developing, is still making those connections. It's not finished growing and connecting until about age 25. So this is a perfect time for you to be practicing these connections. The things that make you, you are formulating up there. And you can choose to give it support in learning about how it works and that how the choices you make affect what's going on in your own brains. And so what this course invites you to do, we've already been doing for the last few minutes, the observations, seeing with new eyes. So science, a method of expanding your awareness. So things like the Hubble telescope, microscopes, X-rays, seeing possibility and observing at different ways and times is really, really powerful. It's a tool that we can use. It's a way of being. So we've made perceptions and expanded our awareness already about ourselves and then about this room, this setting. So how is it that we can make this question work for us? What about college? I am in college because ... Why are you here? So take a moment to reflect on that for yourself. Again, about 352 people in this room, 352 different answers. What is college for you? You might want to observe what happens in your body. Does it make you feel happy inside? Autumn, there's somebody with something they'd like to share in the back row there. Or is that an anxious feeling? Do you feel your heart rate go up and your breath rate go up? Like, just observe yourself when you think about your role in college.
I'm in college because I want to grow as a person and I want to expand my identity and develop more important relationships just for life to come. And I'm taking this course because it's so important to have a foundational understanding of what's going on around us. It doesn't matter if I'm not a science major, because we all live here together in a collective environment. We have to know what's going on in this world.
Heck yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you for saying so. Love it. Anybody else want to share a thought? You'll have the opportunity to write about it, to reflect about it more, even if you don't choose to speak in this moment. So seeing college with new eyes. This is the text that we're going to be using for this class, right? The idea that, well, let me say this. My intention for this course is to expand awareness. You'll notice the subtitle of the book, Becoming Fully Human. That's our course theme. So how do we make connections with ourselves? How do we make connections with each other as we move through our days? And how do we connect with the natural world? So in this particular environmental science course, we aren't just going to document what's happening in the world. Right now, there's some significant environmental challenges, human challenges that we are up against, but we aren't just going to document that. We're going to see where we play a role in what's going on in this planet. So why are those things happening? We're going to dig down into the why and not just the what. Figuring out maybe what it means. So as an environmental science course, we need to consider that absolutely everything is environment, and the way that we move through the world is science. So if you take a look at the paper that you were handed when you came in, this is a mini syllabus. I lost mine. There it is. I got one. So this is just a brief version of the syllabus. Please read the full syllabus. Actually, that's one of your assignments for this week. There are lots more details in the syllabus than on this sheet. I am required to give you a paper copy, and so here it is. You can see on there the class time. Here you are. Lab times you'll have later this week on Thursday and Friday, depending on what your Lion Path says. So there are 22 TAs, actually 20 TAs leading 22 sections of labs. So you need to look and see specifically where you're going and when you're going there. And you'll meet up with your TA. That list is updated on Canvas, so you can find your TA's name listed there on Canvas. 2 essential course materials. The first is developing ecological consciousness. I want you to have this so that you can write on it. So whether you're doing that electronically, if you get it from the library as an electronic copy, make sure that you sign in, because I want you to be highlighting things. I want you to be like scrawling notes in the sides. I want you to write things that you disagree with, things you don't understand, questions that you have for me, questions you have for your TA, all of that. I want you to scrawl that in your book so that you're having a hands-on, pen-on experience with the text. Okay? So however that works for you, I want you to be able to take notes in it. I also need you to have the BISC3 companion journal, except that it's not in the bookstore yet. So don't rush over there to get these 2 materials until I tell you that it's ready for you. Okay, don't waste your time. And probably not ordering it, because I've found that sometimes ordering these things takes way longer than just walking to the bookstore and picking them up. So when I let you know your journal is available, you can go there and pick it up. For this week, your journal is uploaded to the first module in Canvas. So you'll need to print it out and then handwrite in it your journal responses. That's going to be due at your lab. That happens either on Thursday or Friday. So week 1 journal is due on Thursday or Friday of this week. It's a quick start. Continuing on down, after class today, log into the BISC3 Canvas page if you haven't already, and you'll find this week's readings in Module 1. That's the syllabus. The Is BISC3 for You, and Letter from Indigo. Those are your 3 readings for this week. Okay. You'll need them to complete that journal. Mark Sunday, April 12th in your calendar. That's the day that we'll all be traveling to Shavers Creek together, and you'll get more details about that soon, and then about your lab. So there's my information there, email, cell phone, and then my office hours are listed there. There's Autumn's information, the learning coordinators, and then if you flip it over, you'll see what to expect in BISC. So how your questions can be powerful catalysts for your learning, growing in your ability to see yourself and those around you and Earth with new eyes, appreciating the power of handwritten journal reflections as a path to understanding and self-discovery, and discovering that you can play a significant role in the creation and healing of our world. So then there are some intentions there, and then the 4 pillars of BISC3. We're here to help you. We're here to assist and offer you a challenging and transformative educational experience. And so we ask that you follow the 4 pillars of the course culture, making sure that you're here on time, and that you stay for the whole class, that you turn in your journals on time, and all your other work. Being present. That's why we don't allow any laptops or phones in this class. And so you won't need them. You can come in, stow them into your bag, because research shows that even if your laptop is sitting on the desk in front of you, our brains are trying to multitask. What's happening on your phone or your device? You're curious, right? We are naturally curious beings. And so you can tuck that away, hide it in the bottom of your bag. And then we ask that you are openness, the idea of new ideas and novel ways of thinking, that you truth speak, that you avoid BSing on your journals and in your course assignments, because we want you to discover what's really true for you, not just what you think your TA wants you to write, not just what you think I want you to say. This is about discovering you, seeing yourself with new eyes. And so that's a pretty cool opportunity that we hope that you take. Continuing on down, class attendance. Learning involves first and foremost your full presence. So if you are absent, if you need to be absent, you get 2 free absences. After that, we take off points. If you are on your device or writing journals or otherwise not, like your body is here, but your mind's not, then we take off points for that as well. And so lateness and leaving early, you can see all of those details in the syllabus online. So that's some really important stuff about being part. I will strive to start class on time, and I will not keep you over time. I respect you, and I am also very open to your questions. That excites me when people have questions or want to discuss just about anything, is pretty fun for me. So if you think that this is too much, if you don't think that you can abide by the 4 pillars or that something here isn't resonating for you, I respectfully ask that you go ahead and drop the course, because there are people that are waiting to get in that would enjoy having your spot. So just consider that. Read through the Is BISC3 for you? That might help you make that choice as well. So other logistics is that we do have a quick start. As I said, your journal will be due on Thursday or Friday of this week. My expectations are that you do some true reflection in those journals. And then we understand that there are places out there where you can cheat, where you can use AI. And yet, what would be the benefit of that if we're giving you the chance to be you, fully you in this course? How would that benefit you? Is really a good question for you to consider. And then also we encourage you to take what you've learned in this class or what you've heard me say or somebody else say, and then experiment. Go out into the world and try things out, right? We're only in this room for 100 minutes a week, and then you get to go to your labs, and that's pretty cool. But that leaves a whole bunch of minutes in the week where you get to practice what we're talking about and what we're learning, ideas that you think might be compelling. So we ask you to play and work with the ideas, and then write about your experiences in your journals. So you'll meet with your TA every week, Thursday or Friday. And then in order to be a TA, they have already taken this course. And then they did a whole semester of training around conversations, around listening, around facilitating activities for you. They are well qualified to be your mentors for this class. So please be respectful of them, and remember that we're all here to learn, that this is their first time TAing, and so they have space to learn, you have space to learn, I have space to learn, and so we always honor those opportunities. If you have concerns about anything, please bring them to me. I don't know about them unless you tell me about them. The contract is the syllabus. If you're going to be in the class, then your contract, part of the contract is that you're going to follow what's in the syllabus. And then my part of the contract is to uphold what the syllabus says. So please communicate with me. So one more round of reflection before we go. How do you characterize your relationship with Earth? So just take a moment and think about your relationship with Earth. You don't have to pack up yet. We have plenty of time still. Your relationship with Earth. Sometimes if I'm thinking about a pretty good question, a juicy question, and I'm trying to figure out how I feel about something, looking down into my body rather than thinking about it up and just in my head, if I reflect down into my body, then it helps me to come to a more embodied question or answer, so to speak. So here are some choices. Earth is just mostly a background for my daily activities. Earth is a supply house for all my needs. Earth is a depository for my waste. Earth is all of the above, or none of the above adequately describes my connection with Earth. Is there anybody who would like to speak to this? This is a pretty vulnerable question, I think, but I put it out to you so you can share with us. There's someone over here, Autumn. Thanks.
I'd probably say E. I'm someone that likes to be outside and like always go on walks and stuff. So I kind of see it as a way to like manage my stress. That's how I kind of view the earth, like ways to like manage my stress and like make connections with different people because that's what we're all here for, to like learn off each other.
Sweet. Thank you. Anyone else want to reflect on this for us?
I would also say E. I think the first three feel a lot like it's like a one-way relationship, but I feel like my relationship with Earth is like there are things that Earth does for me, but it's more of a two-way relationship. So I think E.
Thanks for saying so. Yeah. Yeah. So this will be a pardon me, a significant part of our quest, right? Of figuring out what this relationship is. We'll be seeing the environment or nature with new eyes as we go through. So if you take the opportunity to observe how your answer to that question makes you feel, what happens to that feeling when I say that there is no separation? You are Earth, I am Earth. You and I have been born out of Earth. What happens to Earth happens to us. There's this very deep connection, this deep interrelationship. And that's what BISC3 is all about, is those interrelationships. So we'll be working through the other parts of the scientific method. On Wednesday, we'll be talking specifically about questions and diving into our curiosity. So I will leave you with this. If you can sit still for just one moment, take this in. There are only two ways to live your life. One is though nothing is a miracle. The other is though everything is a miracle. Understanding that science awakens us to new ways of seeing, and awakening is why we're here. So thank you very much for your time, and we are excited that you're here. Have a beautiful day. Hi, welcome.
I had a question. I read the syllabus and stuff, but it's still unclear to me. So you said don't get the journal until you said it's available.
Yeah, it won't be in the bookstore until the middle of this week.
Okay. But we'll have it in time for like my lab's on